I'll recognize myself for 5 minutes. I want to thank our participants and panelists and witnesses today for being here. One of my concerns coming from a technology background, like I learned COBOL back in 1999, and a lot of our systems today, they're on legacy systems. We waste a lot of money on that. And then with the advent of AI and how fast technology is moving, the federal government has real challenges with moving forward in a quick way and competing against our adversaries. So this is my first question to all the panelists this afternoon is, if you could just do one thing that could advance the federal government in any way, any agency, any capability, if you could just do one thing today to help us utilize AI and technology to move the ball forward, what is that? What is the one thing you would do? It doesn't have to be something big. It could be a small part that makes a big difference, but what is that one thing you would do right now? If we could do it tomorrow, snap our fingers, what is it?
Man, I would say enable adoption, any models at any jobs in federal government. Mm-hmm. For memo writing, all the way to execution, logistics, back office responsibilities, anything. But without enabling, humans to start adopting these technologies, I don't think we will get to the next stage where we need to be as a country.
Mr. Shaw.
Most of the innovation happening in AI is happening at small startups. Mm-hmm. And I think that to the extent that you can look at a team of maybe 50 people and see how long it takes for them to get their product discovered and utilized by federal agencies will determine how fast we can move. And to the extent that we can solve that, I think it'll make a big difference.
Ms. Miller.
Pick a high-value process that can be automated using agents and deploy them. So for an example, continuing disability review in Social Security, we've seen a 9-to-1 ROI on that process of reviewing continuing disabilities. That's using people. That ROI would be at least probably doubled if we used AI agents, and we would save a lot of money in a very, very high-value area. So pick a really high-value area, deploy agents, and measure the difference so that you can use that measurement to inform other investments.
Chairwoman, you're going to like my answer because I'm going to say we need the AI Training Extension Act to be moved.
Oh, that's great.
we need better literacy and skills government-wide. We have a lot of smart people working in government, and sometimes it's just a matter of getting them moving in the right direction and the right training to get the job done.
Mr. Schneier.
I want to see a model that wasn't built by a corporation. I want to see a public AI, that democratic processes are different. They have different affordances. They have different requirements. And to get a model that'll be trustworthy for government, for the U.S. government, I think it needs to be U.S. government built. I don't think it can be corporate built. So funding and research into a public AI will give us a different sort of AI. I think it's going to be interesting.
It's interesting. We have all this technology at our fingertips, but like going back to Ms. Miller's comments about fraud and abuse, we have this technology, but it's almost like we write these checks and then we cross-check it later. So there's a system called Do Not Pay. It's called continuous monitoring. It still gives agencies match results the next business day, for example. And in 2025, that's dial-up speed, right? When you can have it within seconds. And taxpayers are footing the bill for a 24-hour lag when there are fintech companies that are out there that can flag fraud in milliseconds. Like, that technology exists. The March 20 executive order would force agencies to share all unclassified records with authorized officials, yet most agencies are still swapping spreadsheets as opposed to using APIs and technology that is, again, readily at their fingertips. The Secretary of Labor now has statutory access to state unemployment insurance files, but those feeds aren't wired into Do Not Pay as of today right now. And it seems like we're still paying benefits first and then cross-checking later, which again makes it rampant for fraud that we've had year over year over year. And then the IRS individual master file is written in COBOL in the 60s. And it still drives every tax refund. Like, I can't even wrap my brain around, I mean, if I saw a line of COBOL right now, I'd probably throw up. And then to know one of the most important agencies for American taxpayers, you can get your money back from the government. It was written in COBOL from the 60s. So how can an algorithm catch refund fraud in real time when the source of the data lives in a mainframe computer? And then the last thing I want to say is that GAO says that the federal government blows 80% of a $100 billion IT budget just keeping 1970s systems on life support. I would love to know after this, and I'll send a question follow-up, if there was one legacy IT system you could cancel today, what would it be? And I don't have time, but that is a follow-up question I would love to ask all of you. What is the one legacy IT system you would just cancel tomorrow if you could to make our systems better? Thank you so much, and I yield back. I will now yield to Ms. Lee for a